They won't let us be great.
Oh, there we are. Yay!
Yay!
All right. Hacker Man wins again. Awesome.
Exactly.
Let me dust off this lens here. It's been a minute. Still on the Commodore. Still old ass system.
Yeah, exactly.
Do not adjust your sets or what have you. It's not time travel. We are back. Season 2, Fandom Initiative. Yay.
Yep.
Oh, it's been a minute. Let's see if I can get this old thing back. Make these moments once again good. Hello, everyone. Good day. Welcome to the Fandom Initiative. You're welcome. Let's get these introductions out of the way because we've got a lot to talk about. It's been a minute. Been a long time. Shouldn't have left you without some dope stuff to talk about. The man across from me with the blinds up. If you get that running joke, thank you. With the blinds up. This is the cinema CEO. He is the cinema god. This is Michael Williams.
What is up, y'all? It's been a very long time. Thanks for having us back.
Oh, man. It has been a while. And myself, I am the hungriest man in the room. I am the Hungry Bleak, a.k.a. Antonio Pomares. Hashtag the Dark Star, hashtag Nevermore. And we are doing something different today. We're going to try this because I've been trying this out during our hiatus. And we are actually streaming on YouTube and on Twitch.
Yes, sir.
Yay. Next, we'll try to stream on TikTok.
Yeah.
We're not doing that.
At 5-second intervals.
Yes. Wow, it's been a while. There's been a lot to talk about, obviously. And this is a huge weekend. This is a big weekend, as always, because it is New York Comic-Con weekend. We will be talking about New York Comic-Con in a couple of minutes, but first, let's get some stuff out of the way. Michael, how have you been, brother? What's going on?
I've been good, brother. I've been hanging in there.
And how is the exalted Emprecio, Lady Mina? How is she doing?
She's good. She's good too, brother.
Very well, sir. We have been in our cocoons in doing things and such like that. But there's been a lot going on. So we had the summer movies, and then we had like the just after summer, like in the middle movies, which I think is a really sweet spot for movies. Yes, I'm going to be honest with you. They're not going to be big blockbusters, some of them, but I like that. Well, there actually was one that was a huge blockbuster and very important in that little sweet spot of time. Let's get one out of the way that was just what the hell. But then you have to think of the company A24, Green Knight. That's right, folks. You know us. We're not going to go with big blockbusters like that. We're not going to go with stuff with explosion. We're going to go, which we'll talk about. We're going to talk about Green Knight from A24. So that tells you everything.
Yes.
Okay. First off, it was long, as we just described.
Very long. Yes.
It felt like it was 75 years.
Yeah.
But that's just the way it was shot. It was just drawn out. And it's a very old tale. It is. This is nothing like, it's like, I think this might be truer to the real story than the movie that was in the 80s was.
Yes.
With Sir Gawain and such like that. First off, I want to say, before the movie started, I saw a trailer for Lamb, and I said, "Hell no, get out of my face!" and I sent you the trailer, and you said, "What?" I was, I'm not doing this today. I'm not doing this today. What the? I don't even want. I'm gonna need to be with somebody to watch Lamb. I just know it. I'm gonna need somebody's hand to hold.
Although it has one of my favorite European actresses in it.
Yes, I did, but I'm still like, And A24 does a beautiful thing with music.
Yeah.
They know how to give you this imagery that you're like, I don't know what to do, but then give you this music that goes, it doesn't match how you should feel, so it makes you uneasy.
Yeah.
Because the music that they have playing during the trailer for Lamb, I said, I hate you all. You're not right. You need Sekhmet, you need Anubis, you need Osiris, you need all of the gods, you need every pantheon.
Yes.
But Green Knight, what were your thoughts on this one?
Despite the length and despite some of the dragging narrative, I liked it for the most part. I think I go into movies now thinking that not everything is going to be a crisp and succinct narrative. That sometimes, even with flaws like that, there are redeeming qualities to the movie. And you and I talked about this before. With you could easily be there for this movie for the visuals, because the visuals are just
stunning,
out of this world, like out of this world. But with that said, I liked it. I mean, I loved the idea of using Dev Patel in that role, because Dev Patel is a really good actor, and he's been good in everything I've seen him in. So, I thought that brought a really interesting element to the whole story, and yeah, I mean, it was worth it because I watched it. I watched it on an A24 screening because A24 has an app, and sometimes with movies that they have, and either the audience isn't there because they released Green Knight at a weird time. Yeah, like it was kind of post. It was post movies opening back up, but people really still weren't going yet. Yeah. At least they weren't returning back yet, and it kind of started out. From what I saw, I mean, it's not a wide release, but it was somewhat of a wide release. And then it seemed like because the movie wasn't doing well, its release started to shrink quickly. Like in like a matter of weeks, it was barely playing anywhere. You know what I mean?
But do you think that was because, they were trying to limit, because that was still, like you were saying, still in the early stages of movies opening back. Do you think it was because of the crowds not being there, or because they were limiting all movies like that? Because there were a few movies that they were limiting that I was like, damn, I can't go see it. I wanted to.
Yeah, I think it might have been a little bit of both. I think that, as always, I mean, that's kind of the way it is even at peak times in theaters. Like, screen real estate is very valuable. And if you're not making money, oftentimes they don't want to give the same amount of screens to movies that they know aren't making money. You know what I mean? Like, in a prime time, if Black Widow was making ridiculous money on screens, they would want to have more screens so people can see this movie more, and they'd have more showtimes. So the movie that loses out is the small movie that's not making a whole lot of money. You know what I mean? So, with that said, I watched it a one night only on an A24 app where they basically kind of, through marketing and email, they kind of emailed people who have seen their movies in the past and kind of like offered them, basically it's basically the equivalent of you renting a movie on video on demand. Right. But it literally plays through their app, and it has it's for a limited time. It's only, I think you only have like a 4-hour window to watch the entire movie.
Oh, okay.
And then
you'll see half of it. All right.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's like these special there's like these special things that probably would wind up being on a disc when they finally release it, that you can watch. Like, I think one of the special offerings for this screening that I saw was the guy that plays the Green Knight actually read the actual text itself after.
He read he actually not the whole reads the whole
not the whole thing, just part of it. Which was pretty cool. It's pretty cool, like hearing him sans makeup basically say it the same way that he did it in the movie. It was pretty cool. Yeah. But it was good. It was good. I think it's worth watching at least once. I will say that. I know that there are some people who probably will not get into this movie. Will not. And I can think of one in particular, Mina, who didn't really like it. She didn't like it. She just didn't like where it went at the end.
Oh, okay.
I think that's where she got lost because, and I'll admit, and I will definitely admit that I agree with her to some extent there because there is a part there at the end where it's like you almost kind of get lost if you're not really kind of paying attention to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally know what you mean because something happened to me in the theater that made me get a little lost.
Yeah.
This is if you know me as such, what have you, if you follow my Instagram post, you know what happened to me in theater. It's what happened. It's just because of my work schedule. It's just because of that. What have you?
Yeah.
It was. I enjoyed it.
Yes.
I mean, it's A24, so that gives it a huge leg up right there.
Yeah.
The cast was incredible. And the visuals were stunning.
Yeah.
Very atmospheric.
Yes.
The music, even too, like the score and stuff like that, was very important. A24 does a great thing with their music. Like I just said, they do a great thing with their music. I unfortunately, when Sir Gawain gets to the castle, I dozed off for about 5 minutes, and I said, "Wait, what the fuck just happened?" Excuse my language, but yes, I'm gonna try not to use profanity of the season, folks. And I was like, "Wait, what?" And I was looking around, and it just got weird. And I felt like maybe it was because I was groggy. It felt like it had lasted 75 hours. Because I was like, and then I started thinking about time. And I was like, wait, how much more time does he have before he has to do this? He's only got X amount of time. He has to get back. So I started getting to this thing of noticing unreliable narrators.
Yes.
And him telling the story, and I'm like, yo, you've been in this castle for like a fortnight. Dude. Like, how much more time do you have? Even that. So, yeah, that threw me. But if it was to convey time being weird and stuff like that, it worked for me anyway. I don't know if the little unscheduled nap assisted in that, but it did. And it wasn't because I didn't fall asleep just because the movie was bad. It's not that. It's just the fact that my schedule is weird. Sometimes I'm up at 2 a.m. in the morning. And I work, and my work is not work where I sit down. My work is where I'm on my feet for most of the time, and I'm lifting stuff, what have you. So sometimes I want to go to a movie afterwards. I doze off a little bit. It happens, folks. It happens. I had to see Black Widow twice because I dozed off at the end, and next thing I know, the ship was being destroyed. I said, "Wait, hold on, what happened? What happened? Hold on, pineapples. Wait, what? What happened? I want to go home. Can we?" And me not being able to rewind the movie because I don't know how to have social skills anymore. I'm like, oh, I can't rewind this. I can't pause it. But I did enjoy the movie. I enjoyed the cast very much. I enjoyed the ending because it was like, I don't know if you had it too. I think there was a movie or a story in school, I want to say, where it was a man who's about to be hung. And the story is him. He escapes being hanged, and he gets away. He gets married. He has children. Oh, yeah. Spoiler alert. And then he dies. And then he opens his eyes, and he's still in the noose, and then they drop the Florida, and he's executed. That's what that reminded me of.
Okay.
This story and everything that was there. Like, he saw that he was not going to be this good king, which you kind of knew because he was impetuous and headstrong, and he did things that just were just, young and stupid. But it was all done very well. It is heady trip. If you're looking for something like, and it still can be this thing that does still mess with your mind. Again, because of time, unreliable narrator, and it can still mess with your mind because you see how his life could have went if he had decided to become king, and it was all messed up. I mean, the kingdom was burning. He's just walking around like, okay,
bring me my snacks.
Exactly, like this, like, okay, and he was just so unhappy. And his kingdom was just destroyed. So I can understand. So you know what? I would watch it once, maybe twice, just because it's that type of movie. It doesn't have the rewatchability, I would say, of some of the other movies like Hereditary or Midsommar. But I think A24 movies, you can only watch them like twice. And it's not a bad thing. It's because they sit in your head because they mess with you.
That's very true.
So yeah. So that's our heady highbrow upper lip type of
upper crust.
Yes, that upper crust, the upper room, sir. Yes, the upper room. Yes, in a manila sealed envelope in the jar. That's an old reference that only 5 people are going to get. God damn. Wow, Carson. Next one, let's talk about, because this movie had a huge impact. I'm so glad it was out. It came out. We loved it. It's up there with me as far as the MCU. It's up there with Black Panther. They're sitting right next to each other. They're on their own ship. They're on their own level. We're going to talk about Shang-Chi. Holy shit. Holy, oh yeah. I guess screw it. Yeah, I just profanity again. This movie hit on it, and it's a mix of genres blended into one. You get the martial arts, you get the wuxia, the Shaw brothers kind of martial arts feel too, and scenery. You get the I'm trying to remember the name of the movies where like the wire work. Because everybody knows this more. I try to Hidden Dragon, because I'm trying to think of all these other movies that they do that in, but I know everyone knows more Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. You get like the Monkey King movies and Storm Riders, which is one of my favorite movies ever. You get that like big supernatural epic fight type thing. Damn. Yeah. Yes. See it more. I tried to see it again and I couldn't, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't.
Okay.
I couldn't, just because of where I'm not in like Manhattan. I'm not there, dude. But damn, this movie hit on a level that was so, every part of it, no wasted motion.
Well, if you have Disney Plus, you won't have to wait very long.
Exactly.
It'll be on November 12th, Disney Plus Day.
Yeah. I might actually watch Black Widow again. Hell.
Yeah. Yeah. Shang-Chi is
so much. Damn.
Simply put, is amazing. It's a really, 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 really good film. Like and we had talked about it before it came out. Where we were talking about the trailer and how it was very reminiscent of Black Panther and all that stuff.
As far as the feel, like not them stealing,
as far as
but that same feel of going, oh, this.
And I feel like it exceeded my expectations of even with what I had with the trailer. It's just like, it's just so good. And there was one particular aspect of the trailer that you and I were discussing. I don't know if we discussed it all online, but we definitely discussed it after, where we were talking about our trepidation of where Awkwafina was going with her character in the film, as far as what we saw in the trailer. Like, the trailer uses all of her go for the laugh scenes.
Yeah.
But her portrayal of this character in the movie is so much more than those go for the laugh scenes.
Yeah.
It really is so much more, and I'm so glad. Thank God the MCU allows her to use both sides of her range that she's been able to do in the last few years. Like,
well, nobody really knew she had, well, except for that movie. Oh my God, what was the name of that movie? You know what movie I'm talking about too.
Yes, I know.
That's the downside. I just can't remember the name of it. The Dinner?
The Farewell.
Thank you. Okay.
The Farewell.
Oh, and before we go on, spoiler alerts. Joy Infinity has not seen the movie.
Which one?
Has not seen Shang-Chi.
Oh.
So just be careful.
Okay, I'll be careful.
Well, no, I was telling her to be careful. We're gonna spoiler alert ahead of time. Okay. And thank you to Joy Infinity and Farrah Ramsey for being in the room. Thank you very much. She did surprise me. I'm still leery.
Okay.
Of her, but this movie was like, yeah.
It's interesting because my brother also saw the movie, and the thing he came, which I thought was interesting because he saw it before me, and he came back saying that he would love to see interaction between her character and Zendaya's MJ.
I was just about to say. Everybody wants to see Zendaya's MJ interact with everyone because of how she is. She's the person who you see outside the bubble who would say, well, why would you do that? Why would you? She'd also be the one who would say, why do you pose?
Yeah.
Why do you have she would be the one who would say that.
Yeah.
She would say that. Okay, so we got it's okay to spoil your. So you guys are going, okay, spoilers? All right, cool, bet. Okay, bet. It's all I would like to see, Zendaya just has that. I tell you, if you can steal a scene just narrating it, where you're not even in it, you have this quality that's amazing. And seeing her interact with this world and being like, so when you came out of that, like the ice and everything like that, how did you feel when you saw that a black man was in charge of everything?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, did you automatically say black or color? Like, she would be the person to say that, which is what I love. Aquafina was a nice surprise, but look, if y'all don't know about him, Tony Leung.
Oh my God.
This man, put some respect on this cat who has been in the game. Tony Leung, welcome to the MCU. We need more of you, sir. This dude has always been legend. He's always been, watch him in his native tongue, his movies. Watch with subtitles or don't watch with subtitles. You'll still feel his acting.
Yeah.
He just, the dude, he should have been Victor Doom. He could have portrayed that pain and that suffering. Oh my God, the dude is every scene he ate that scene up with every he took the biscuit, sopped up all the gravy in that piece. God. He murdered those scenes. He was so and when you first see him, he's evil. Then you see these layers. As he is man, and then you start understanding. Yeah, I can understand why he did what he did. How he felt the way he felt. Oh, Tony. Yeah. Tony. Antonio. Sit down, bro.
Yeah. And I mean, that's also one of the huge strengths of the movie because of the character that Tony Leung plays in this movie. I don't know if Marvel was just playing coy throughout the first part of this. the first in the Infinity Saga was just playing coy about what they wanted to do with the Mandarin. You know what I mean? Where they just kind of put these things out there that everybody in the audience knew that's not the Mandarin. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not the guy that we know. You know what I mean?
I think that's why they I don't think they did. They retconned him, which they're very good at retconning. Yeah, they are. They're good, but they're not that fucking good. I'm gonna be honest. They retconned it, just like they retconned Miracles of Mutants, which is what you do in comic books. So it's okay, and it's okay to make that mistake if you're gonna pull out Tony Leung. If you're gonna make that mistake and then pull him out and say they were afraid of a man named after a fruit or a chicken on a menu, that line I was like, he just kicked America in the ass, baby. And we just said thank you. When he dissects that, and you're sitting here like, yeah, it wasn't the fact that the guy had power or what have you. It was the fact of his name, the Mandarin, and how he made it like how it was steeped in that whole yellow scare. And when America was, still are, racist as hell, and just being so anti-Asian about everything, unless it was about labor, then they would just make you work the railroads. And just that, and the way he just dissected it. And I think he could only be the one who could get away with spitting that line out, because he gave it in such a matter of fact, smart, and just a man who's been around for all that time, centuries. Oh my God. I mean, look, he's Tony Leung. He's going to be gold. But the rest of the cast,
I mean, listen, a movie. Simu Simu's a revelation in this film. I am sorry, I haven't seen Simu in other things prior to this. You know what I mean? He's really good. He's really, really good. and I'm looking forward to more adventures from Simu in the MCU going forward.
The only thing I know he's in, which I have to start watching, is Kim's Convenience.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he's in that. But I don't know anything else that he is in. So I have to start watching that. I've heard it's great. I believe Joy Infinity has watched it, and she said it's really good. Michelle Yeoh, obviously.
Listen, the value of the production goes up infinitely whenever she's on set. Well, she is royalty at this point.
Brings it, obviously.
Yes.
Ronnie Chung, who is more of a comedian. I love when they have those characters in here like that, that are comedians, but they blow you away with the role that they're in. They know what role to put you in that will favor your incredible talents.
Yes.
It does that. Wong. The fights. The underground fights with Shang's sister. I'm trying to remember her name. Even the story between the father, the son, and the daughter, and the dynamics, and how he didn't kill the man, or no, what was it? He did kill him. I'm trying to remember. Shang. I'm trying to remember that part. But then left his sister.
Yes.
There. And him trying to find like redemption and not leave her again.
Yeah.
The family dynamic that they have in there. The fight between the two characters in the beginning, where it wasn't more martial arts, but it was martial arts, but more of a dance and more of that Crouched Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Curse of the Golden Flower, House of Daggers, that type of flow and feel, and the dance, and you felt that it was this flirtation between them and the movement, and it wasn't just them striking, or it was more just them playing and feeling the flow of each other. I absolutely loved it, and I want them to do more with this. I was apprehensive about them putting Wong in there, even though I love Wong, Benedict Wong, whose character's name Wong, that has not gone over my head. I absolutely love him. He was one of the best parts of the Deadly Class, but I was apprehensive about them throwing him in here because, he's an Asian character, let's throw him in there. But they haven't given him anything to do, really, except when he left it, he was like, "Wow, Thanos is coming. That's crazy. I'm gonna go back. I gotta guard the shit. And if I want to tune him out while I'm all right, good, bet." But I loved him in this movie. I loved his interaction with her. I loved the ending credit. When they were like, "Well, we really should get up early because we got stuff to do." Yeah, so we should probably head back home. And then you all go out to karaoke and he's singing with them. I love that. I love their interaction. I want this to lead to Agents of Atlas.
Okay.
Or I'm trying to remember the other team's name. There's Agents of Atlas and there's another team, but it was majority of Asian heroes.
Okay.
Which I love.
Yeah.
They have more. There's Swordmaster now. There's Arrow, AERO, not Arrow as in archery. So yeah, there's actually the new Darkhawk is Asian.
Okay.
There's an Asian character with MS. So this movie, this is a winner. When I watch it at home, I'll probably see even more things in it that it just hit me. It was just
I also want to shout out another dude that was in that movie. The dude that played the character of Razor Fist, Florian Martineau, from who in the two movies that I've seen him in, he's been amazing. Shang-Chi being one of them, and also the other one being Creed 2. He plays Victor Drago's son. He's really good in that movie too. Just the cast that they were able to assemble for this movie is just. These guys know what they're doing, folks. These guys know exactly what they're doing. Don't listen to the haters out here, all these directors that keep talking about they cookie cutter movies and all this other stuff. These are all guys that are jealous because they're not getting calls from Marvel. Trust me. These are the people who are really irritated because these movies are hits and no one's calling them to direct.
or at once upon a time they were called to direct and they said no, I don't want to do superhero movies.
Exactly.
But it's also the fact of some of them cannot evolve, they cannot adapt. So their style, let's take I don't know, some dude who only does like mafia movies. That dude who does like 85-hour long movies, his style would not work. No. His style would not work for anything. If he did Eternals, it would be a slow paced movie, but it would be immensely slow paced. It would be horrible. And somewhere in there, like it just, some people just, they're good at what they do. Stick with that. That's what you do. Stick.
It's interesting that you bring it's interesting that you bring that name up because I want to.
Oh, I didn't say anybody's name, but
I know, or that that concept up because I want to discuss that a little later on in comparison to something else that you and I both have seen.
Oh yes.
Yes.
There was a stark difference. It was we'll talk about that. Actually, is it the same? Are we talking about the same movie that is based in New Jersey?
Yes.
We can talk about that right now.
Okay.
I mean, we're so cool. So next movie we're going to talk about, this one is one that's been talked about for a while. It's based off of one of the most iconic shows, and HBO shows especially, out there. This is the prequel to the Sopranos, The Many Saints of Newark. I was apprehensive to watch this.
Okay.
Because I don't watch mob stuff anymore, because there's always that one scene. You don't sell below this street. You sell to your people. You sell. Then they start using racial slurs for black people. There's always that one scene. This movie used that in a way, but I understand in a way why, because of the time that it's in. But I still didn't need it. And if that's the trope that you always fall on, I can't really mess with you. But I really want to see this movie because of Michael Gandolfini. I wanted to see how he did. And dude knocked it out the park. I know it's his dad, and everybody's like, oh, that's his dad. Of course he is. No, not necessarily. But he studied, he watched, he got the mannerisms. He got to see him do that first outburst where you're seeing Tony's outburst. All of a sudden he's just sitting there. Then he's eating like prosciutto. He's always eating prosciutto for some reason. He's like an outburst. And he's sitting there and he just snaps. And you see the first time he does that.
Yeah.
And you see even the way that him and his mother are going at it. And you can see how it's just going to escalate as he gets older, where he actually starts to curse and everything at her. But I enjoyed it. It felt like a 2-hour long episode.
Okay.
The first, because of the pacing, which makes sense because of, the same director and everything like that. The first 30 minutes or so, I stopped watching. And I ended up watching it the next hour. I was like, I can't do this. I just Jesus, I can't do this. Then I watched it, and when it got to Michael, it sped up for me, and it just made sense. He clicked so many scenes for me. Trying to think of the actor's name, the actor that played Dickie.
Alessandro De Novola.
Yeah, he was. You could see where Tony got a lot of his mannerisms, such like that. It totally makes sense. I enjoyed it. The actors who were playing the younger versions of the characters that we know were spot on. Holy cow. Vera Farmiga.
Oh my God.
Oof. She did work. Seriously, like she was in it. So you could see her just ramping up and getting worse. Even when the father came home and she was just like making it about her, and he was like,
yeah.
He already wanted to go back in. He was already ready to do a stick-up joint and then go back in. He really just wanted to go back in. She was already starting with him. But it was. I definitely enjoyed it. I don't think I'll watch it again. Just like I won't watch Sopranos again. I'll be honest with you. It was good. I want to see what else, if he wants to do anything else, if Michael will do anything else, because I really enjoyed him, honestly.
Okay. My thinking on the movie is that it was half a good film. That first hour is not good. It's slow. It's painfully slow for a movie that should be a lot. I'm not saying it needs to be breakneck pace, but the pacing of that first hour needs to be better. It's bad. It's really bad. And then when it finally starts to become more of this like gangster movie, is when it really starts to work and it starts to move and it starts to really be good. And I guess that's probably right around the time we really get, a lot more of Michael Gandolfini playing Tony. The way that we know Tony is when we see him as an older adult. I think that maybe that's part of the thing that really bothered me about the movie is that there's almost not enough of Michael Gandolfini. There's not enough of Janice. There's not enough of those people that we've known for so long. You know what I mean? And I know it's a prequel. I get it. I get what they're trying to do with it, but I don't know. Like, I think the standout performances in the movie are, like you said, Vera Farmiga, who, she's always good in everything that she's in. Like, my God, you know what I mean? Like, and Alessandro De Novolo, who I have been rolling with since him being Castor Troy's younger brother in Face Off. It's like,
oh my God, yes. Oh,
this
wow.
guy is amazing. He is a good actor in everything I've ever seen. Yes.
Holy, I didn't. Oh, because I'm looking at him, I'm like, damn, yeah. Oh, yeah, wow. I didn't even realize that was him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I said, man, that first part, like I said, I had to stop. I was like, I'm good. I'm just gonna. But when it picks up, it is big. But they said it wasn't gonna focus on Tony.
Yeah,
he was gonna be there. Like it was gonna focus more on Dickie Maldesano.
Right, and I think that's where I wanted to bring up your the concept that you were just talking about before of a certain director who doesn't necessarily vary his style. I almost feel like this movie kind of needed somebody that big as a director to almost make it a better film.
It would have been 9 hours long. No,
it would have been longer, but I don't know. I think
he paces well because they give him time to pace well. He couldn't work in an hour and a half format. He could not.
I mean, it didn't necessarily need to be that guy.
And we're talking about Scorsese, if you can't realize it. We're talking about Scorsese. I'm just going to say his name out there.
It didn't necessarily need to be Scorsese. I mean, they could have found anybody who's done a good gangster film in the last 10 to 15 years and put them in the chair here. And I think it would have made that first hour a lot better than it was.
Do you think, because it was a director who was from the Sopranos, I believe, correct?
I think so. I'm not even sure if it was.
Do you think it was possibly, like, to use the term, ring rust and like getting back into the scene and gelling? Or it didn't. Yeah, that first, I thought it was gonna. I didn't think it was gonna be paced like this series, which it was, which is good because sometimes the episodes could go really quickly, and you have these moments. Then you have like some out of nowhere humor, something from Silvio, something from Paulie, whatever, and then you go into it. But it felt like this was an origin movie, which it was.
Yeah,
and origin movies have that habit of starting out. So I guess in essence it makes sense, but it shouldn't.
Yeah, I agree with I agree with your point there, where you're like, it's ring rust because it's been 15 years since the show's going off the air. So it kind of feels like they aren't. It kind of felt like they hadn't been in that sandbox for a while.
Yeah,
in that first hour, you know what I mean. So it was like,
and it was more like you were meeting everyone.
Yeah.
So maybe that's. I don't. Yeah, it's just, but it has that smell of I didn't even think about it. It has a smell of origin story.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that kind of made it just an okay effort for me. Like, it wasn't horrible, it wasn't horrible. It's just that it felt uneven. Is the word I'm looking for. Uneven.
Okay. Well, well, that's why I said. I mean, this isn't something that I would have went in theaters to watch. It doesn't.
Yeah,
I would have watched The Sopranos, then watched this right after it because it felt like a Sopranos episode. It didn't feel like
Yeah.
a standalone thing.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, okay, cool. And it felt like that. And I watched it. I was like, all right, cool. Bet.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it more than The Irishman.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
You know, I mean, I could have watched this movie twice, and still had like 75 years left over to watch The Irishman. So, I mean, I'm totally good.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable for HBO Max. I was glad about Max doing, you know, the simultaneous release.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, this was a perfect Sunday with the sauce and watching so stupid and watching this, like, because this is what I watched. I think I watched this on my patio on my tablet.
Mm-hmm.
I was outside enjoying some nice weather, what have you, and I watched it there.
Okay.
You know, it was enjoyable for that, but it wasn't something that I would go out to the theater for. I wouldn't have used my AMC. I wouldn't have used one of my 3 reservations for a week to watch this. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
But what I did use one of my reservations for was Suicide Squad.
Yes.
Oof. Well. Yes. What happens when you let the leash off of James Gunn?
Mm-hmm.
You get a movie that is spawning a spinoff for John Cena's Peacemaker.
Yeah, which I'm not that thrilled about.
I want to see what they do with that, because my thing with John Cena, I'm a wrestling fan, so I've seen John Cena for years.
Yeah.
So I want to see. Sometimes he's good in small doses.
Yes.
I don't know how he's going to be in that big dose where it's all him, and he can be funny.
Mm-hmm.
He can,
mm-hmm.
and the character is kind of absurd from the way it is in the DC movies. The character is kind of absurd. Like he'll kill anyone for peace. Wait,
mm-hmm.
what? That's not how peace works. No,
mm-hmm.
I'll kill anyone to make sure that peace stays around.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you understand what peace means. Do you mean a piece of pie? You're not talking about the same piece. So
Yeah.
Suicide Squad was a hard R rating. And
mm-hmm.
within the first 2 minutes, you see what the Suicide Squad is really about, and you get a huge swerve out of this
mm-hmm.
movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was visibly laughing. This was enjoyable. This was really enjoyable. No, because I'm thinking about some of the scenes, and I'm like, this was like better than what I thought it was.
Yeah.
But again, you also have to see our bar was so low.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I'm worried about sometimes. Is the bar's kind of low. Mm-hmm. It is. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed Idris Elba.
Mm-hmm.
Margot Robbie. There's actually a movie that I want to talk about with Margot Robbie I'd forgotten about that I saw recently. I don't know if you saw it, but I want to just give it a quick shout later on.
Okay.
She's doing things and I love it. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. David, the guy who played Polka Dot Man.
Yeah, I can't pronounce his last name either, but
when you see him, you know him in everything.
A lot of movies.
He was in Ant-Man. He was one of his partners.
He was also in The Dark Knight.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He plays those roles. Yes. And for some reason, he always plays like Eastern European cats. I don't know if that's his heritage, whatever. I don't know, but they always. And yeah, he's always in a role, and you know him. The minute you see him, you go, "Oh, him." Mm-hmm. David. I don't know. Polka Dot Man. What in the hell? Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. One of the best characters and most tragic characters in this movie. I felt the club scene where he's dancing is just. Yeah. Thoughts, brother. Thoughts. I gotta take a minute.
Yes, I like this version of Suicide Squad best. That first movie, although that first movie does kind of serve as Margot's introduction to us as the good doctor. Mm-hmm. This is what Suicide Squad should have been.
Yeah.
Should have been from the very beginning. Love to see Viola Davis back.
Always.
For me, she is Amanda Waller. Yeah. I don't think anyone else can play that role other than her, the way that she plays it.
She the voice actress who does her CCH Pounder.
CCH Pounder can play.
She could have done it.
She could do it.
She could done. She's badass. She be doing things.
Yeah, but it definitely has to be.
Viola has that gravitas and that walk. She got that walk.
Although I will argue that, and this is my only shout out to the Arrowverse during the show. The younger version that they use in the Arrowverse is okay. Like, you could kind of see that that's what Amanda Waller would grow up from, if you know what I mean.
But that version of the character is based on the New 52 version, where they made her younger and slimmed her down. So she was still that same personality, and that's why I hated her. And I don't mean the actress, but I hated that version of her, what they did, because New 52 was basura anyway. But I hated that. So when they brought back, because we don't have a lot of plus size characters, especially plus size black characters with the nappy natural fro, you don't see it. So you have this woman who goes toe to toe with Batman, who's shorter than him, everything, whatever, and she says, "Well, I know, your secret, so don't get me wrong, orphan." Give me that. Give me that all day. I'll take that over the thinner version. And again, it's not the actress, because I enjoyed the actress in Spartacus. Enjoyed it. And in The Accountant as well. Yeah, I enjoy her. But no, give me the short, big boned, just badass.
George Finity says Viola Waller. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
For real, yes.
I was on board when they casted her, when they announced that it was going to be Viola Davis. I'm like, yeah, because I've seen her play that role before. She played that role in a movie called Night and Day with Tom Cruise. That was much more dialed back, but it was still basically the same role, where she was his boss. You know what I mean? And she was kind of bossing him around, and she was like, you got to do this, you got to do that. I'm watching you. You know what I mean? So, James Gunn is just the right person for this kind of movie. He just is.
Yeah.
Like, he loves giving people this kind of off the wall kind of presentation of things. Oh man. This Suicide Squad movie is light years better than that first one.
It's better than the Guardians movies too.
I don't know about that first one, guy. I don't know if it's better than Guardians 1.
The first, I actually kind of like the second Guardians. I think, and I think it's because of Kurt Russell. I'm just a Kurt Russell fan.
Yeah,
that dude has hair forever. That dude is never not without hair. That dude is keeping like comb companies in business. Like, this dude's locks are ridiculous.
I wasn't a huge fan of Guardians 2. It's okay. It's just not.
It had moments.
That first movie.
It had moments, but I'm not a big fan of the Guardians in general. It might just be because of Chris Pratt. I'm gonna be honest with you. It might just be because I'm just not a fan of Chris Pratt in general. But there will be a movie of his that I am going to bring up later on. But it just, it was good. It gave you a truer essence of what the Suicide Squad is. Yes. Within that first couple of minutes, when they're like, well, no, that's a decoy. Then you see this other team and you're like, damn. Because you thought everybody had died. You was like, wait, what the?
Yeah.
The movie over already? Damn, DC really did give up. All right, cool. So we're going to go get something to eat. They just 2-minute movie, but I still paid full price. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
It definitely did. I love the fact of having Starro in there. That's a huge nod to comic book history and such like that. I loved how they did Starro. Beauty of it. Idris Elba. Get in. Bloodsport. He's why I'm going to start reading the new Suicide Squad, because they have Bloodsport in there.
Okay.
And it's a different thing. They have the way they're doing Bloodsport in there is just cool as hell. And I loved his weaponry, his suit. Yeah. I loved it.
It's a completely different dynamic
in that first one,
with Bloodsport being leading the team per se than Deadshot.
Yeah.
It's just completely different. It's just better. It's better.
It is. And the visuals of Harley, when the flowers burst up behind her, the way they give Harley these different scenes, and they play with the color and everything and the vibrancy of it, it fits her so well. It's It's just amazing. It just Margot Robbie just does
Yeah.
some of the just coolest stuff possible.
Yeah, she was the best choice to play Harley.
Yeah,
The
I
best
mean,
choice to play Harley.
they said years ago, which I'm trying to remember which movie it was, where I think to play her in, I can't remember which Tim Burton Batman it was. I can't remember. She would have been cool, but you know how every decade they like, okay, who would have been the great in this decade, what have you? She would have been. Yeah, she used. You know what? She would have been a good Typhoid Mary too. Come to think of it,
yeah,
she would have been. You know what?
Yeah, because she's got that look. She's got that crazy look,
that menacing. Because she has the dark hair and those eyes. She has that look. She has that. I mean, we all remember her from The Craft, and she brings. I mean, the Waterboy. Even that. That's just Bobby Boucher. Like she just has it. So somebody get on. Look.
That's a shout out. That's a shout out to Jazula, because Jazula loves Fairuza Balk. She's been trying to get Fairuza Balk in something.
Her and Taylor Kitsch. She wants Taylor Kitsch back again, which I'm not mad at that. I'm glad that he has a TV show on Netflix now. He has a series. Awesome. I don't know if it's going to keep going or if it's limited, but I do want to watch because he's awesome.
Yeah, and just before we get off Suicide Squad, I think that's the only thing that gives me pause about this spinoff. Like, I'm okay with Cena in the sense of this movie, but in a spin-off series, like, I don't know. Like, I think it's going to be too much. I honestly do.
Too much of Cena?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He can. Well, you
Cena
know,
can wear on your nerves over time. He can.
As a wrestling fan, I understand that. But I do want to see the movie, and Joy actually brought it up. Vacation Friends looks incredibly funny on Hulu. I do want to check that out. I thought that was going to be in theaters movie. I didn't realize that was a Hulu release, which I do want to check out. But I actually do want to check that. It just looks funny as hell. But I can be worried about it. I don't know a lot about Peacekeeper, so this is interesting to me to even bring him up.
Yeah.
Yes, Farrell Ramsey. Yeah, Waller in the comics is very interesting. Yeah, the way she did create Terry McGinnis's Batman Beyond just shows how far ahead and how much in depth she can be. Like that's just that's that character.
Yeah.
Movie that so Margot Robbie, Promising Young Woman. Did you see that?
She in that?
I think she co-produced it or was like an executive producer on it.
I have not seen Promising Young Woman.
Watch this. It is one of the best, and you know I love a good revenge movie. This is one of the best revenge dark comedy.
Yeah. Actually, Promising Young Woman is an interesting film in general because the woman who directs it also stars on The Crown.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
Yes. Yeah. It was so. First off, I'm a stand-up comedian fan as well, stand-up comedy, and Bo Burnham is in it. Okay. I've never seen him act. I don't know if he's acted in anything else like that. I love the fact that the people that they got for this movie, which again is a revenge flick, but the people that they have in it are mostly comic actors.
Except Carey Mulligan.
Yeah, but I would
everything I've ever seen her in too.
But you know what? If they flipped this and made some type of dark comedy with all of them still being funny road shows like that, and put her in there, she could kill it. Because she hung with these cats who I know are funny as hell, and it just because everybody I'm thinking of, except for possibly Clancy Brown, is more known for comedy.
Yeah, he's in that movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I gotta watch this now.
He plays her father. He plays her father, and Jennifer Coolidge plays her mother.
Jennifer Coolidge is in this film?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. This is one of those movies that was on the surface, but people were like walking by it. I didn't really know what it was about, but I knew that it was a revenge flick. I didn't get a chance to see it in theaters, obviously, because life, things happening. Okay, but yeah, because this is on HBO Max.
Let me throw something out real quick that is really good with Jennifer Coolidge relating this to this. Have you watched the White Lotus yet?
No, I have not. I have not watched that.
Brother, do it.
But it looks great.
Brother,
It looks
do it.
really good. Because that's on HBO Max too, as well.
Yes, brother, do it. I was not convinced until Amina sat down and we were like, "What's the White Lotus about?" And we just started watching it. Really good, brother. Really, really
Nicole
good.
Kidman, Melissa McCarthy.
No. You're thinking of the thing you're thinking of is 9 Perfect Strangers on Hulu.
Oh yeah. There's a few shows that look similar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wait, the White Lotus, is that the one about the resort?
Yes.
Or are they both about resorts? I think they're both about resorts.
I think they both are about resorts.
Yeah, they both are.
But I think
it's a different story altogether.
Yeah, the White Lotus I think is planned to almost kind of be like an anthology, because there is going to be a season 2 with different actors in a different resort.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she just, I mean, their screen time isn't like, a lot. It's maybe total, maybe about, maybe like 30 minutes, maybe total. Actually, no, maybe like 20, 15 minutes, maybe.
Okay.
But they both hit, obviously, because they have that experience, and they have that presence. They do. They have that presence. So they can be they don't have to be in a movie for 2 hours, because that little bit that they're in hits so much, because you go, oh yeah, they're in there. They're in this. The Kurgan is in it. Kurgan is in it. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Crab is in this movie. How are you not giving me this movie? But yeah, check this out. It hits, and there are moments when you're going to laugh and you shouldn't, because of the subject matter, but it's so good. I definitely revenge. It's a really great revenge flick. But just remember the whole time as you're watching it. So remember, it's a revenge flick.
Yeah,
it's a revenge flick. Because sometimes you'll almost forget.
Okay.
The whole premise of it, and her going. It's like Hard Candy, but grown up.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's all you need to say was about Hard Candy. That's also one of my favorite movies.
Think of the character from Hard Candy, grown up.
Okay.
Trying to forget what they used to do, and then something happens, and they slip back into that.
Okay.
But just on a more devious, more mature, darker level.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, I definitely was there. Snake Eyes. Did you see that? I
didn't see that. But I heard you told me you thought it was good.
Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Gives you a different story.
Yeah, you also mentioned that it kind of doesn't go the way you think.
Right. It doesn't. It kind of. I don't know the complete origin story of how Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow get together. I know that Snake Eyes goes and trains with the Ashikage clan. But in this movie, they delve into that.
Okay.
Great summer for Asian representation in big action movies, and being seen as not what you normally think of them as. Okay. Being docile, and these, even in Snake Eyes, they gave them depth of character, and you feel like they switch the roles almost, where you feel and you understand why Storm Shadow decided to go with Cobra. Okay. You totally understand why. Yeah, man, this was awesome. This was this was, when this comes out on DVD, I think this will be like Blu-ray. I think this was something that I would buy. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I would buy this. And you see the two different styles of fighting. You got my man from damn, what's my favorite series on Cinemax? Oh my god,
Warrior.
Yeah, Warrior. You got my man from there. I'm trying to remember his name. Andrew Yang. No. I'm not talking about Andrew Yang. No. Is that a politician?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm trying to remember my man's name.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. He is. I've been wanting him to be in something more. Not that I don't love him in Warrior, but I feel this cat needs to be out there more. Something. He brings it. And then you have Henry Golden. And you see how they get together and how they have these two different fighting styles altogether. So it's not all just straight martial arts, everything like that. Like you see, Snake Eyes is more of a brawler. Okay. More of like a hitter, where Storm Shadow has been trained in martial arts. And swords, everything like that. So he has a much more nuanced style. But when they fight together, there are scenes where they fight together as a team and like against a group of individuals, and they just nail it.
Andrew Koji is who you're talking about.
Yes, thank you. And they just nail it beautifully. And we do get to see where Cobra and G.I. Joe come into this.
Okay.
But you don't see like the outright, like Cobra Commander doesn't come up and at the end they go, I'm starting a team and I'd like you to be a part of it. Storm Shadow. Like you don't see that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you definitely get that vibe of it, of where they're going with it. And
you don't see any Serpentor helmets in the background, do you?
Man, I was hoping for it. This I command. I was hoping for that, man. I was hoping for that gold snake armor suit and then that gold snake cover shirt thing going there, man.
Yeah.
It definitely hits for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing that was the biggest praise for this movie I saw was from Larry Hama.
Yes.
Who said he has a cameo in it. You have to look really close. It's a very dark scene, but you see him, and I was like, "Wait, is that?" And I was like, "Bet." It has this neo Tokyo kind of look feel to it, like a futuristic Tokyo. Because you feel like if we were doing G.I. Joe now, it would be a near future, just like the previous movies were. But this would be a whole. If they start doing movies like this to go into more G.I. Joe movies, I'm definitely on for this one, Hasbro, for real. Because the other two G.I. Joe movies were not good at all. Really, the second one was just really bad. It didn't need to be. There was no point in doing that. They could have just like gotten something to eat and just got a V8 and just called it a day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But definitely was good. Did you see the two movies that came out that were, I think this is following Netflix. We had two movies that came out for Netflix from last year when they put out The Old Guard. Watch that movie, still even better after you watch it again. From Paramount, we had, I'm trying to remember the name of the movie because Mark Wahlberg was in it, so that's why I'm drawing a blank. So I was not a Mark Wahlberg fan. Just don't know why he keeps getting cast in these damn movies. Just a waste of time for me. I'm just gonna be real with y'all. Infinite.
No, I didn't see it.
It's good. They just should have cast somebody else. They shouldn't have asked him into the building. Shouldn't have called him. Shouldn't have texted him. Shouldn't have emailed him. Shouldn't have sent some smoke signal. Just should not have gotten Mark Wahlberg. It's not. It was interesting. And then there was the Tomorrow War from Amazon.
Yeah, I wanted to see that. I still haven't seen it yet.
That I like Chris Pratt in because he's not over the top jokey. And the premise is actually really interesting. They take you from the past, from the future, and take you into the past, but they can only take you back there for 7 days at a time. Okay. So that's your tour. And they take everyone. Doesn't matter if you were in the military or not. They take everyone because they're running out of people. Because they're dying. So everyone that you see in the future is younger. They're like younger than 35. And they start going, wait a minute, he's like a general. He's only like 30. Like how that happened? It's just because they don't have a lot of time. All right. So people, grow up quicker. Everything happens. Really great sci-fi, time travel movie, alien invasion. J.K. Simmons just never disappoints. This dude, you can give him like a block of dry ramen. He's gonna make it work for you. This dude, Whiplash. Jeez, what the hell, man? Jeez, this. Yeah.
Everybody who I've seen talk about the Tomorrow War, I haven't seen anybody say anything negative about it. They've been like, you should watch this. You should check this out.
Yeah, it really is good. Yeah. Something that maybe, since we're on J.K. Simmons, that's something maybe that you maybe should not watch. It's Venom.
Let there be carnage.
I'm gonna do what I normally do, but in reverse. I'm gonna give you your self-care, but then I'm gonna beat you afterwards.
Yeah, okay.
The end credit is amazing. Loved it. So many more options that you have for storytelling, and I'm wondering where they're gonna go with that. I'm thinking that's possibly it's either gonna be a result of Spider-Man can't find his way home, or I don't know, he lost his keys or something like that. I don't know. The boy just can't get home. And I feel like that's a huge rib towards Marvel too, because they want him home for good, or from or the Doctor Strange sequel, the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
But I love that scene. I did because it gives you more, and the way he even just looks at him and goes, "This one," and licks the screen. I was like, "Ooh!" And we got J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
The climactic fight scene was really good. I loved it. I loved seeing the two of them just go at it.
Okay.
I don't think they should have killed him, but I understood because he finally was able to call himself the Lethal Protector, which they had been trying to get him to say the whole movie. Andy Serkis, congratulations on. I mean, this is his directorial debut.
Yeah.
I mean, the direction wasn't bad.
No, not at all.
No.
I think you needed someone who has major experience in mocap and CG.
Yeah, he's well
to direct a movie like this.
He could teach and write like like he could do all that.
Yes.
But I really did like that scene. That scene was great. And Tom Hardy had some pull with this movie too. He had some something to do with the story.
Yeah, I think he co-wrote it. I think.
Yeah. So, and that saying, I never liked him as Eddie Brock. I just don't care. What is life? It just wasn't. They tried to make it funny, and it wasn't. It's not as good as the first movie, and the first movie isn't really. Well, this one's more of a horror, I guess, in essence. So I can feel that, which is what they were trying to convey.
Yeah, it's funny. I think I have the exact opposite reaction to this movie that you do. I wasn't a huge fan of Venom. I understood what they were trying to do with that first movie, but again, I think where I was on the protest line saying, I don't know how this movie works when you don't have Spider-Man in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, everything that we know about Venom is
key to...
He has this guy to play off of. Right? And he doesn't have that in this. in the first one. So it's kind of like, yeah, he looks cool when he becomes Venom. It's cool that he's kind of doing these things, but there's something completely and utterly missing in a movie like this. Right? So then I'm like, okay, you want to introduce Carnage at the end of the first one. Okay, I'm like, so you guys are just all about trying to make life harder for yourselves now going forward because you still don't have Spider-Man. How are you going to do a Carnage Venom movie that doesn't include Spider-Man? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Oh, right? Pharaoh at Ramsey is asking, how is Woody as Carnage?
I didn't think he was horrible.
I think that he did the best with what he had.
I think the movie was more about the Carnage character than it was about Cletus Cassidy in some ways.
Yeah, which is funny because they're supposed to be truly bonded. Yeah, they're supposed to be like, he doesn't say we, he says I.
Yes.
Which is, they kind of didn't do that with this movie.
Yeah. And all right, so you introduced Carnage at the end of Venom, and I'm like, all right, now we're really going to do this, right? We're going to do like a Maximum Carnage movie where no Spider-Man is to be found. This isn't going to work. So
none of the characters in that movie in that story have been established.
Right.
You have no, I mean, Cloak and Dagger, nobody.
Exactly. So fast forward to this month, at the beginning of this month, I go and see Venom, and I don't know if I just got soft on this movie or whatever, but in some ways I enjoyed it only because it doesn't really try to do something completely different in the sequel. It almost leans into all of the ridiculousness from the first movie, and in some ways that kind of makes it entertaining. If that makes any sense to you.
Yeah. Like there's a consistency to it.
Exactly. So for the most part, I enjoyed it. I have to accept it for what it is prior to that end credit scene. Right. Like, there is no Spider-Man to be seen. There is no feeling of real jeopardy at all in the film.
Mm-hmm.
But then when we get to that end credit scene, it almost feels like everything is about to be flipped. Right. And it's interesting because me and my brother had this conversation years ago when we first started talking about a Venom movie, when we knew it was going to happen. I was like, and Andre kept bringing this up. He was like, and we both were like, well, how are you going to do this without Spider-Man?
Mm-hmm.
And then I just off the cuff, off the top of my head said, well, maybe Spider-Man gets the black suit in reverse this time. Like, he doesn't get it at the beginning. At least the Tom Holland version doesn't get it in the beginning. And then he gets rid of it, and then it becomes Eddie Brock's thing. And then we get the Carnage thing down the line. And then there's this jeopardy between Spider-Man being in between these two symbiotes that are going after him, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, maybe what will happen this time is that the black suit will be established. Then obviously we got Carnage. And now we might be getting to a point where at some point Tom Holland Spider-Man may come in contact with this symbiote.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if that necessarily makes things better. I don't think it does. But I'm sure there are people who enjoy Tom Holland Spider-Man want to see him come in contact with this symbiote and get a black suit out of it.
I mean, yeah, we all want to see that because, like you're saying, they are synonymous. Yeah. When you think of Venom, you think of Spider-Man. I mean, he has a symbol on his damn chest. I mean, yeah. Someone was saying, shout out to the show that you put me on the Marvel Fan Show.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Where they had their theory and saying that, because the minute Venom said universes, mm-hmm. I said, oh,
mm-hmm.
okay, so they are leaning into this hard. Mm-hmm. Even this part is leaning into it. Okay. And you can kind of think of, they are different universes.
Yep.
Oh, and then when there was that shift, and he said, well, let me show you. And then there was that shift. And he was like, well, wait, what happened? What happened?
Mm-hmm.
They were saying, well, maybe since they know all these different universes, so I said, they've come into the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. They've come into the Andrew
Garfield Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. They've come into that Spider-Man. So they know Parker.
Mm-hmm.
They've been there already.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he looked at the screen. He already had a knowledge of who Parker was.
Mm-hmm.
Because even this Parker, the Tom Holland Parker, it will have also counterparts in different universes, just like the other ones will have counterparts in different universes.
Yep.
That he's already been, a part of it. Possibly that's why they have the abilities that they have, and they look the way they do. They just don't have the white symbol because obviously we know why legal reasons, such like that.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, which is an interesting idea. I don't know, but I just know that the minute I saw that, and that it's set in whatever universe is going to be done after. Well, we don't know, like after Far From Home or the Multiverse of Madness. We don't know where exactly this is going to fall.
Mm-hmm.
With Venom in there, I mean, and he'll go back after him. Then he'll end up leaving Brock to go to some type of way. But there's a link there.
Yeah, it's also I'm glad that you brought that word up, link, because it's also sort of a business decision link from the movie side of it, right? Because in the Tobey Maguire universe, Eddie Brock and the symbiote are gone. Eddie Brock is dead, right? So the only way that you could kind of bring all the things that Spider-Man has ever kind of faced, at least in the movie universes, together is to somehow bring this version of Venom to Tom Holland's Spider-Man for it to be complete.
Possibly. I mean, but again, with multiverse is difficult, but also because the symbiotes, they have a shared commonality. Yeah. So from what I can understand, what one knows, the other knows. Well, all these symbiotes, because there's like a planet of symbiotes, which they have come upon the last 2 or 3 years or so. They had the whole like Black is King. Yes. Or no, King is Black.
King in Black.
King in Black, thank you. Yes. The other one was Beyonce. Thank you, Beehive. So we got she has to work her way into everything somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
So that with multiverse and a shared commonality. That's an interesting premise. Because you share everything, even across different dimensions. That species still shares. So there are all the symbiotes all over. So that symbiote that Maguire had knows all the knowledge that the symbiote that my man muscly tattoos, that was Jesus, totally forgot my man's name, Tom Hardy.
Yeah, Tom Hardy.
Yeah, aka muscly tattoos. Share that, and then even the Carnage symbiote has that, and Shriek's symbiote would have had that. We don't know. We don't even know if actually Shriek is dead.
Yeah,
because the bell fell on her, which I don't mind.
I'm sitting there watching this movie, and I'm like, isn't Shriek a symbiote?
Yeah,
I'm like, why is she in human form throughout the whole movie?
I mean, she has powers before that because she was in Ravencroft before that. But I don't think in the comics they were lovers. But this is the first instance of possibly the M word. I think Shriek may be a mutant.
Okay.
So, well, I mean, we did get the other one in a Black Widow, but that was like a real, like you have to, like if you blink, you'll miss it. But with this, it's a clearer point, saying someone with powers, what have you. They didn't outright say it, but I have to check. But she may be a mutant.
Okay.
Or they may have made her a mutant for this. I don't know. But she does end up getting a symbiote. There's a bunch of these damn symbiotes out here, like roaches. It's everywhere. But I mean, we'll see. That's the thing with a Marvel movie is you don't know until everything, and then you think you know. Then that ending credit scene, like the after credit scene, you'll be like, "Shit, okay, all right, all right, cool." Yeah. So, you want to slip over to TV news or anything else with movies?
I think we pretty much covered all the major things in movies so far.
Yeah. One of the major things with TV, let's just talk about this for TV because this was one of the bigger things. I mean, we have things like Midnight Mass, which came out, which is really great. Hamish Linklater totally surprised me with this. I'm not used to seeing him in such a serious and dark role, I guess. The Old Adventures of New Christine is always what I think of when I think of him. But I mean, he's killing it with it. But Disney Plus, Marvel's What If, based on the classic series, What If basically says, what if this happened? What if this didn't happen? What if this character did this? What if this character? What have you? Started out as an anthology series, but then it became this series that was linked by Uatu the Watcher, which the only person who could be a better Uatu than Michael Williams is Jeffrey Wright. They had to go to Jeffrey Wright and said, look, Jeffrey, you're the only person who can do this. You're the only person who can do this.
Yeah.
Do you think you can do it? And I loved him as a watcher. I love him. And you see they start being linked because of one particular story.
Mm-hmm.
What if Ultron won?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so interesting. And then what if Ultron just bodies Thanos and gets the Infinity Stone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's one thing that I'm going to say real quick, and it's annoying to me because, again, you'll believe people in the geek nerd fandom culture, whatever, will believe anything, but they can't open their minds to anything.
Mm-hmm.
Don't understand. Oh, this guy has metal bones and claws. Oh, that's great. Wait, that can't happen. That doesn't make any sense. You're an idiot. Shut up. Some people apparently were upset because they didn't see how Thanos could be beaten so quickly. Some people were talking about time frames. Things didn't add up right. They were because Thanos had all the stones, but it was like 3 years ahead of time or something like that. I think people were saying like that. People who were really scrutinizing the timeline, stuff like that. Which I appreciate your due diligence, obviously. But let me say this for you: it's a different universe, you idiot. So time frames are going to be totally different. It's not all going to be the same thing. It's a different universe. So this timeline that we have for the main MCU is not going to be what is used for different universes because they're different universes. And also that timeline was fractured, changed by all the things. The Avengers messed up time. Now my man from Lovecraft Country is going to come out in here and have to start wrecking shop. but it's a different universe. Things happen. We don't know all the events.
Yeah.
Stop it with that. Y'all think you're so smart. Stop it. Sit down. Stop it. But I really enjoy this show. The animation is like cinematic release quality animation, which is no surprise, obviously, because it's Disney, it's Marvel, they have the money. But it's beautifully done.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes.
It's not like the animation that you would expect to see on TV, if you know what I mean. Like, you know how there's always that lower grade. But because of the advancements in animations like that, this animation is beautiful. Chadwick Boseman. I thought I was only going to get one appearance from you on this, man. I didn't know that I was going to get all of these. And he was supposed to get a spinoff.
He was supposed to get a spinoff,
That they should never have told us that. They should never have told us that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that makes What If bittersweet, right? Like, I'll say this, and oftentimes we talk about Warner Brothers and DC's animation wing, right, as being the gold standard of how you do animated direct-to-video movies in using the properties that they have. And that still kind of is the case, right? As far as the storytelling and things like that, they're still on top. But I'm telling you right now that after watching What If, Marvel has finally figured out a way to kind of bridge that gap and have another way to kind of bring other stories that may not necessarily be things that they want to do on a theatrical level to viewers. Like, that is how good What If is. Like, What If is almost like they took throwaway cinematic scripts and said, let's just animate these. You know what I mean? And nothing shows you that more than that very last episode.
Yes.
That is the most cinematic of all of the episodes. Like, the action that goes on in that episode is very cinematic. Like, very. You know what I mean? So,
Pharoah Ramsey didn't know about the spinoff, apparently. Yes, there was going to be a spinoff of, because there's the second episode, I want to say, is What If T'Challa was Star-Lord.
Yes.
They were going to do a spinoff because that episode was so, you know what? Peter Quill should have stayed on Earth. This is, he made everything better in space. He stopped the Infinity War by talking to Thanos. Captain Genocide, as what's name was calling him.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what was supposed to happen with that, which would have been, they should never have told us that. Unfortunately, they shouldn't have.
Yeah, and I mean, it's unfortunate, right? We lost Chad way too early.
Yes.
And I honestly believe Chad would have been completely on board on doing that spinoff, completely, and he would have played it so well. That thing would be an even bigger hit than maybe him being regular T'Challa. Right? Because it's just kind of like,
because it's T'Challa in space.
Yes, it's so different, but good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
that
would have been awesome to have that animation too. And jeez, yeah, God.
And the only thing that's missing from What If season 1 that I heard we're gonna get in What If season 2 is Gamora's story, like how Gamora became the destroyer of Thanos.
Yeah,
yeah,
because it's so cool to see her in the armor and that sword, which is awesome. This series was just it was and this is all canon.
Yes,
this is all canon in the multiverses or omniverse. I'm starting to like the term omniverse, honestly.
Yes.
In that, which I love. What was your favorite episode? Yeah, exactly.
It's hard because a lot of them were just so well done. My God, that last one definitely is one of them. I even liked the Doctor Strange one.
Yes,
because it's just so.
It didn't end happy.
No,
it ended as.
No,
not all these stories are going to be happy ones where there's a happy ending and something like that. There was nothing he could do.
Yeah,
he truly was the embodiment of I've come to bargain.
Yeah. It completely. You completely felt for Doctor Strange in that episode because it's like no matter what he tried to do, she was destined to die.
Yeah, there's always that.
Yeah,
there's that term in Doctor Who where it's key points in time, key moments in time, where it can't be changed. It has to happen across all of the omniverse, multiverse. It has to happen. This show did that wonderfully by having those moments that we all know from the movies, such like that, which we find out are key moments in time that have to happen. Captain Carter, when she kicks through the door and she's shooting with her, there's all those moments that we know. They put them in there, and I think they weren't just Easter eggs for us to see and to feel, wow, this is there. Those are key moments in time that have to happen for that character, no matter how it's interpreted. It has to happen. Fixed point in time. Thank you. I couldn't remember the term. It's been a while since I watched Doctor Who. But fixed point in time. They have to happen no matter what. And I love that little attention to detail.
Yeah.
And
one of my other favorite episodes is what if Killmonger was the person who saved Tony Stark?
Whoa. Killmonger. And then you find out more about it. He's just this dude thinks like 4 chessboards ahead of everybody. He was already there. Everybody's talking about this, and he's like, yeah, all right, yeah, cool. And when he's picked to be one of like Uatu's, I guess for lack of a better term, Avengers, part of his team, and you're standing like, this dude is not. I know you see everything with Uatu, but are you going to see this? And when he grabs that head, I was like,
yep.
But yeah, that episode was so great. I mean, just oh my God. And we got to have one last interaction between Chadwick and Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
And when he called him cousin, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
It was just so well done. And what makes it even better for me is that I was able to get Mina to buy into watching it. Because I had initially told her, I was like, oh, there's this animated show called What If that's coming on after Loki went off. And I told her, I was like, I think you might, because she's not that big into animation. Like certain things she will watch, but other things she just doesn't have an interest in. But I told her, I was like, the hook on this show is that these are all things that you've seen before, just done in a different way than you've already seen them.
Right.
Right. And she was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. She watched all the episodes. She loved it just about as much, if not more, than I did. Like, it's just really well done. Like, really, really well done.
It is. It's even the voice actors that they weren't able to get. Even the actors that were replacement for, like, the MCU actors did a great. Lake Bell killed it as a Black Widow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trying to think of my man's name who did the Stone Guardian, I guess you could say, on a Vormir. He
Yes.
replaced Hugo Weaving
Yes.
from
Ross Marquand?
yes,
Yes.
he did what, and that dude does incredible impressions.
Yeah, he does.
So they definitely got the right, and I didn't know that until after seeing him on a Walking Dead. I had
Mm-hmm.
no idea.
Yeah,
Like I
I
saw
didn't know
like
either.
yeah, there was some type of special on. I think it was True TV or something like that, and he was on there and he was
Mm-hmm.
doing a Christopher Walken impression. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, damn, okay,
Yeah,
cool,
yeah,
bet.
yeah, yeah.
He did a couple of the voices on there, so they got, but they still did get. I mean, like I said, they still got a great cast. They've got, and they were very smart in that last episode. They didn't put Benedict Cumberbatch's name up until after the credits, and they said, and Benedict Cumberbatch. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
that's how you do credits properly, because when you see the
Mm-hmm.
name, you go, okay, so now I'm going to expect this character to pop up.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't. But they got, like I said, they got Jeremy Renner. They got Toby Jones.
Yep, Toby
I believe his
Jones.
name
Yep.
is, yeah. They got him.
Mm-hmm.
They got Sharon Carter's character, Peggy Atwell.
No,
No.
Haley Atwell.
Haley Atwell. No, Peggy
Sharon
Carter. I'm
Carter
sorry. Yeah, Sharon. Yeah, is
is Emily Van Camp.
yeah, Agent 13.
Mm-hmm.
They got those actors, which is great.
Yeah.
But then the actors that we were able to get, they replaced them wonderfully, and those actors smash out of the park. This isn't like the '80s when you got like really subpar.
Yeah.
Like this definitely the same character.
Yeah.
That ain't it. So you
I
definitely got that.
Yeah, I also liked that kind of towards the end of the very last episode where Black Widow's like, I'm not going through that door. Mm-hmm. and the Watcher basically sort of says, I'm going to send you to a universe where they've lost their Black Widow. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh man, and just to see her on that helicarrier fighting along with everybody else is just, oh my god, it's just so well done. It's just so well done.
So we don't know what universe that is.
Yeah,
but with the blending of universe such like that, so that also opens the door of her coming back anyway. So yeah, but I think that was the big. There's a show that I do want to say real quick, Reservation Dogs.
Yes,
on FX. Funny, poignant, heartbreaking, mind-opening, beautiful series on FX. It's about these 5 young indigenous First Nation teenagers who are, they're pulling, little scams on the reservation to try to get money because they want to leave to go to California. And it's a comedy, dramedy kind of thing. And the wonderful cast of characters who are awesome. You've seen them in so many other things, and it's just, it's a beautiful thing. This is co-created by Taika Waititi, who, dude, everything he touches, I feel, is just like, is just wonderful. You know what I mean? He's just so happy.
Yeah.
I would love to just sit down with him at lunch and just him talking, and I'm just like, just found the secret of life, man. The hell are you doing here, dude? Seriously?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's 8 episodes. It's great. A lot of funny stuff. And there will be things that you don't know because it's things that are part of the indigenous First Nation culture. And like there's something called what the hell was it called? Backstrip or something like that. Forget where, and I was like, what the hell is that? But it's like, I think it was like deer meat. That was from like the deer's backstrap. And like fry bread. Like I knew what fry bread was, but there's this rapper, in the show, there's this rapper who raps about fry bread, and he's like, yeah, that greasy fry bread, and I'm sitting there like, and I was actually nodding my head like. Afterwards, I said, I want some fry bread. Like, where can I get some fry bread from? For real. He made it sound so good, and it was just so funny. But check this series out. The first season is already done. Like I said, it's only 8 episodes. You can binge that in a day. I binged it, and I watched it as it was happening. I tried to. And then when I got to the last episode, I was like, wow. You find out why they're leaving, and one of the characters doesn't end up leaving. one of the characters that's mentioned a lot in the show actually dies before the show even started, and you found out how the character died and what happened. And they hit on a lot of topics that happened on the reservations and in the indigenous First Nations society and culture that we don't hear a lot about, because people don't believe that like indigenous First Nation people even still exist. They look at them like unicorns. Like they don't believe they exist because they don't see anyone there. Well, that's what happens when colonizers come to a country and slaughter most of your damn people. You're not going to see a lot of them.
Yeah.
Dummy. So yeah, check that out. That's on Hulu. All the episodes are up now on Hulu. It's from FX. Oh, also Why the Last Man. Forgot about that.
I've heard
Why
good things about it.
Oh, yes. I started reading the comic before the show came out. They had like a sale on comics, so I bought like the first 3 omnibuses. So I started reading that. There are definitely changes, but this is a great show. They updated it. Basically, the story is what happens if there is like this incident where everyone with a Y chromosome. Remember, I'm saying that everyone with a Y chromosome. Listen to my words. I choose my words carefully. I use them even more carefully. Everyone with a Y chromosome dies. Mammals. All mammals with a Y chromosome die. So you have to, and it happens like over the span of a week. Like it's like the mice and rats and such like that. Then it goes to humans, and it just all just start passing out, except for one, a young man by the name of Uric, and you find out about his links to the presidency, his sister, and it's very interesting because what would happen in a society where it was only anyone with a Y chromosome is gone, what happens in that society? What happens to identity? What happens to gender roles?
Right.
Because it's updated and because of what we know now and the knowledge that we have and people being more open and upfront, being willing to talk and have these discussions, they updated it, and there are great episodes and talks and mindsets about identity and transgender and what happens when society breaks down and you're not able to get your meds, your hormones. What happens with that? Show's really good, man. I think they're on episode 5 or 6, maybe.
Okay.
That's also on Hulu. They actually did the first 3 episodes in one day on Hulu. They threw them up there quickly. So, and it was on because we've actually talked about this. It was on before it premiered that night. Because why would you wait until the end? Michael and I have had that discussion numerous times, waiting for trains in New York about why would you just wait? It's on demand. Why not do that? Stars does that with Power, so why not just keep doing that? HBO. I know you have HBO Max, but just throw it up there.
Exactly.
You're still getting somebody to watch it.
Exactly.
So yeah. So I think those are the biggest things that happen on TV, really. I'm sure we'll have more stuff possibly next week or the week after with the end of New York Comic Con, which today is the third day of New York Comic Con. And it's cool. But speaking of Comic Con, let's talk about Comic Con and New York Comic Con relevance. Well, yes. So, Michael, you feel this one because you had this idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just about New York's version of Comic-Con. I mean, I feel like this is something that is going to affect all Comic-Cons going forward. I mean, and it's unfortunate, right? Because the pandemic hurt a lot of the exhibition industry, right? And I think part of the reason that my co-host and myself are not at this holiday per se, that we kind of celebrate every year is because of the inherent risks there are to health and things like that are still presently going on in our society. I want people to not forget that we are still in the middle of a pandemic. Nothing has been announced to say that we are out of this thing. Right?
I mean, it's better than it was, but
yes,
we're still there. We still have to be careful.
Yes, honestly. But there's still risk. There's still risk involved. So when I say that I think these things are slowly becoming irrelevant, what I mean by that is that what I'm starting to see as a trend is that the movie and production part that has become a part of these things,
more
the entertainment side, is starting to pull back, and they're starting to do things. The production and entertainment companies in America are starting to do their own kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
A perfect example is that Netflix about 2-3 weeks ago did an online sort of event, sort of con called Tadum,
Mm-hmm.
which basically kind of highlighted their release slate and things that were upcoming in the future that were going to be on their service. It was broadcast on YouTube live.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you see Disney Plus kind of pulling back now because they have their own streaming service and they have enough reach now with the streaming service in America to kind of say we don't necessarily need to go to Comic-Con anymore. We can make our own announcements via our social media, but also tell you that on the day that we started 2 years ago, we are going to drop all sorts of movies and programming and
Mm-hmm.
things that are new and a special about Marvel and the future of where they're going and you know things like that. And again, this isn't Repop's fault. This isn't the exhibition industry's fault. I just think that the cards kind of fell in a very weird place in the last 2 years. You know what I mean? And it wasn't necessarily just about COVID. I think you started to see that kind of start to be pulled back before COVID. Like you had plenty of companies like Disney and Warner Brothers that were skipping cons altogether because they didn't want to really showcase anything. And Warner Brothers in DC is also another one, which we're going to have a show that's on simultaneously while they have their event next week, which is DC Fandom. You know, I think that they found a way to kind of say, well, we don't necessarily, and I don't know if I necessarily agree with it. I think you want to get these things in front of as many eyes as possible ahead of time. You want to build buzz in the fan base that is, to me, building buzz in the fan base that's deafening is better than not at all or very little, right? Because deafening will help get people out. Deafening will help keep that conversation going. Like a perfect example is, me and Antonio when we saw the first episode of Watchmen at New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
That created such a buzz. A week, him and I could not wait to talk about what we saw. We literally had to wait
and then watch it again.
Yeah, because the show was coming on in another 2 weeks, and we didn't want to talk about it for people who hadn't seen it. It was like an exclusive screening, so we couldn't really say anything. I think that there is still a place for that kind of promotion at a con. Like you can't duplicate what you get at a con. Right? Because what you get at a con is just like this like insane kind of immediate reaction, especially to something like Watchmen. Like him and I sitting next to each other, we had like this visceral reaction after seeing it. We were like, we were stunned. We were like, there's no way they're gonna go through with this. Like, there's no way. There's no way. This isn't happening.
And they started within the first minute. They were like, look, this is it. Tulsa. We were like,
yeah, I was like, wow. Okay. I was like, okay. And I don't know. Like, I'm for as many events as there are to kind of get that word of mouth and that kind of publicity out there. but there's a part of me that just hopes that they don't forget about various Comic-Con audiences, because those people are the people who they almost certainly do right by you all the time if you do right by them.
Yeah.
Like, I'll talk about one of the bigger ones besides the comic, besides the Watchmen thing, was when I saw basically the Avengers promotion tour about 6-7 months before the movie came out at New York Comic Con, where they literally had people from the movie, Hiddleston, Evans, a few other people were there, and they showed scenes from the movie, and that hall was packed to the gills with people for that, and there were people that were still outside that were pissed that they couldn't get in. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like that was just kind of something that Disney did because they wanted to see what people's reactions would be to this thing finally happening. And then since then, they kind of have rested on their laurels, probably rightfully so, because they've got everybody now. You know what I mean? They've got everybody. Everyone's interested. People are going to go see these movies. It's almost a lock unless the movie is terrible, which hasn't really kind of happened. Even the ones that aren't necessarily that great, people are still going to see. So I don't know. I don't know. I understand why studios may want to do their own thing now, but I still think you have to throw a bone to these audiences that come to these shows because they're important. They just are.
My thought process, being like someone who is more on the comic book side of it, because that's how it. I mean, it's in the name, comic. And knowing people in that industry and talking to them, not just as fans, but also about what they do in their process, and having done some interviews with them and sat down and broke bread with them. So seeing that part of it, and how at first I was like, I didn't like the entertainment part coming in because it felt like it was overshadowing. When you said, "Oh, these actors are going to be here," couldn't care less. I'm over here in Artist Alley. Like, everybody would be on the main floor looking at whatever and going to, panels, stuff like that. Before, I would never. I would stay in the Artist Alley the whole day. I would be in there looking at comics, such like that. But now I see that the entertainment industry, like New York Comic Con, is still going to be relevant in essence because entertainment industry, as long as they keep doing comic book related properties, they're going to need that Comic Con audience. And I would say San Diego Comic Con, is big, but I think New York Comic Con, and it might just be because I'm biased because I'm on the East Coast. I got blood in New York. Might be that's the bigger con to me. Because nobody's going to wild out like New York is going to wild out for me. I mean, I'm going to be real with you. I mean, you can get, the California wild out is great. Yeah, tofu, but you're not. I'm sorry, but you're gonna get this dollar slice wild out over here. You're gonna get these butters wild out over here. You're gonna get your wild out over here.
You gonna get that Rough Rider wild out over here.
Drop. You know what I mean? There's just a different.
Yeah, I hear you, brother. I hear you.
So, and this was a very interesting Comic-Con. Because of the pandemic, we didn't have one of the biggest comic book retailers, Midtown Comics, was not there. Marvel was not there. DC was not there. Image was not there. I'm not sure about Dark Horse, but Marvel, DC, and questionably Image are the big three companies. They were not there.
Yeah.
So you have the more indie companies, the smaller ones you have the bigger indie companies like Stranger Comics, which is there, to your smaller independents like Webway Comics, Raid Comics, Lock It Down Productions, Mishmash Arts, those people are there. And they had them all together pretty much. I want to say a lot of them were in Artist Alley. But they still had some that were on the main floor. And then you still have small press out there as well.
Yeah.
Doing books. So if anything, without those companies being there and without so many of the entertainment there, it got back to the foundations, got back to the base, it got to that fan base of the comic book fans, the sci-fi fans, the horror, whatever, those fans, and they got to delve more into those properties, not having to be so much about the entertainment side of it. This year, I think there were more wrestlers though. There were a lot of WWE and AEW, which I wish I could have seen that because again, as a wrestling fan,
I know
Andre would have been doing backflips.
Yeah, I noticed I noticed that AEW had a bigger presence this year.
Yeah. And it's because they worked all throughout the damn pandemic and still do. They were in empty arenas putting on shows where you could hear them hitting the mat, you could hear them hitting the ropes, you could hear them, you know what I mean? So that's just that passion and the love for it. I would have loved to have gone there and seen Ruby Soho, one of my favorite wrestlers, stuff like that. So I think as far as entertainment goes, cons like this are still going to be relevant because this is a big con. But you need to have an alternative for the virtual. This year, I believe, as I said before, so you're welcome, New York Comic Con, Read Pop. They did something virtual for people who had passes. You had to. It's not. I know I see madcap in some of the things I say and off the whatever. But when I say things, there's a reason why I'm saying them. If you have no ideas, then shut up. If you have ideas, you have a 50-50 shot, of either it succeeding or it failing. If it succeeds, great. If it fails, that's also can be great because at least you learned, okay, this doesn't work out. What if I tweak this? What if I do this? So they had to. So I like that, Fred. And I like the fact that there are virtual options. I like it because, let me tell you something. When I could just roll out, wash my face, brush my teeth, jump in the shower real quick, go back into different pajamas, get a bowl of cereal or whatever I was going to eat and sit there and not be late for a panel, not have to deal with a line, not have to, deal with, con funk, not have to whatever. It was cool. I liked it. I loved that virtual option. I love Virtuous Con being all virtual and being free. If for some chance Virtuous Con decided, well, I have to charge $10 for fees, whatever. Okay, cool. Whatever. All right. Cool. $20 is still cheaper than New York Comic Con. New York Comic Con still had passes on sale that Wednesday for Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. They still had passes. I almost bought a Thursday pass because I was in the city Thursday. I almost did. And because I wanted to see everybody. I wanted to see the people with it. But I was like, no. First of all, I don't want to spend that $70.
Yeah.
And also, so I think their relevancy, they're going to have to rethink how they do it. And because all the space that they didn't have before, they had that space because these booths weren't there. You've seen the Midtown booth. It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
You've seen the Image booth. Marvel's booth. They'll have like a VR. They'll have like a whole stage. They're coming packed. So having that room was a nice help. But I do think again that they could have worked in conjunction with Disney Plus and had their own little quote unquote Hall H thing. Where they could have been like, okay, well, this is what we've got going on. This is it. What have you? If you have a pass or if you have the Disney Plus service, something like that. Work together. Open that forbidden door. Work together in these things because we're already there. So why not get us in there? You know what I mean? Just because I looked on YouTube to see what was there, and there was none of the new stuff. They had some streams on the Metaverse website. I think they actually had a screening of Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah, but I also heard the big screening tonight is Dune, which they did not promote until maybe they promoted it Thursday morning. Yeah.
I would have lost my mind watching Ghostbusters Afterlife
Mm-hmm.
because I've been a fan of the movies, even the all women cast,
Mm-hmm.
because I had an idea that they could have done. They didn't do
Mm-hmm.
it, obviously, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Who am I?
Yeah.
But if I could have watched Dune, bet I would have been drop kicking toddlers and DDTing geriatrics
Yeah.
all day to get into that line.
Yeah.
I mean, not really, but yes. You know what I mean? So things like that, but you have to
Yeah.
have little things like that and little moments.
Brother, I had a feeling. There was something in the back of my head that was like, man, I was like, I'm looking at this lineup, looking at the lineup of all the things that they're supposed to be doing. And I'm like,
They
God,
have
this
to.
just feels so fucking quiet. I'm like, there's no way that there's not something big that they're not talking about. And
Yeah.
then when I saw this thing where they was like, basically the way they're doing Dune is the same way that they did. What was the movie that I saw there the last time? Bad Times at the Old Royale.
Oh, okay.
When they had the screening for Bad Times at the Old Royale, they literally they had a link that you went and clicked on and you signed up for it. And if you signed up quick enough, you got in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's pretty much what they're doing with Dune tonight at 8:00. If
They
you
used to
were
have
lucky
like,
enough, yeah. If
I'm
you were
trying to see
lucky
what
enough
time it is. This would be like, I mean, I could get a train. I could.
if you were lucky enough to get into that link and sign up, you are in to see that tonight.
Yeah. But you have to have little things like everybody knows near Comic Con, something's going to get screened. Either they'll outright say it, like we had the screening of Watchmen. We had the first episode of season 2 of Castle Rock. You got to see most of Into the Spider-Verse. I got to see the first episode of Deadly Class. But to have a whole movie is great, and I understand why they don't promote, because it would be a landslide of you'd have. Yeah, I understand, but you also take a chance if you're going to a panel. Sometimes even look at the times when the next panel is going to be. Can you be like, wait, this panel mad long? They can't. You can't ask that many questions.
Yeah, exactly.
They about to do a viewing bet. So things like that. So entertainment is still going to have to do that because they still need that word of mouth, that groundswell. Even though Dune, everyone wants to see Dune, obviously, but still, if you have this screening and people afterwards are like, "Bet you got this can make or break." That also shows confidence in the product. So I think there still will be relevance, but they need to branch out and look at other cons and virtual cons like Virtuous Con, things like that are out there because it's a wonderful option to have. And Gesundheit. The more cons that are out there, the more that big cons like this are still looked at as big cons, but they're not as necessary for us as fans. Sometimes we don't need to. I don't need to go there because I saw it, because I was here, I was there. So I think they're still going to have those big entertainment things, but as long as they're comic book related, sci-fi related, geek related, they have to. But I do see some people going, I'm fine with not going. That wasn't a choice at one time. At one time you had to go. I remember to get a pass, they were selling them at Midtown a few years ago. A former coworker and I, after work, we were like, he needed to get a pass, and I was like, so we're gonna get a pass, like when you can buy them in a store. And he was like, they got them on sale in New York. I was like, oh, they gonna send it to you? He's like, no, I got to go up there. I was like, oh, all right. He was like, you want to go? I was like, bet. We went up to New York to get a pass. I mean, we ended up having some good Chinese food, but still, we went up to New York to get a pass, and like
that General Tso's chicken hit different when you get that pass,
bro. Like my pass was already on lock. I was good. He was late, but I was like, look, man, we up here. I mean, let's get this bong bong. I mean, let's get this. Let's get these vegetable egg rolls. But things like that, you still have to have the entertainment there. But I think that the comic section is growing rapidly, and as if they're going to keep doing projects that are based on the source material is comics, they're still going to be relevant, but not as hard hitting. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because those indie creators this weekend, this whole con, this was their con. In my opinion, small press, artist alley, indie creators, this was their con.
Yeah.
You know, and I know artist alley is hitting. I miss artist alley so much. I miss. Hey, yo, I want to give a shout out to artist alley. You know, my baby's mama's bet. Just, no, I'm joking. I don't have any babies, mamas, or babies. But that's one thing I will say is it goes back to the foundation of comics.
Yeah,
you know? So
that's true, brother. That's true.
We'll see what happens next year.
Yeah.
That'll be the tale, and I'm wondering to see what numbers are like. What also infection is like, not just for con crud, but also COVID. What happens there? I want to see if there's going to be a spread of it. What happens when people get tested? If they get tested. I want to hear about people who came in from other states, possibly other countries. Don't know how, travel is right now. I'm curious about that to see what's going to happen next year.
Yeah.
Will we be invited to do a panel? I don't know, folks. I don't know. We're talking a lot of schmack right now. They might not want us to come here because we're talking so much schmack on the mic. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens after this week. I'm looking to see. I might actually go on Facebook just to see what people are saying about, being sick. Although we all know I hate Facebook at this point. But yeah, I am interested to see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that was. We do have one. There was one thing I did want to pop up real quick. Pharrell Ramsey. Where's that? If DC will do elsewhere, I hope they do. Jeez. Oh my God. Their stories are, what if Batman got the Green Lantern ring? What if Superman was actually raised by the Waynes? Like, there are so many different stories that they had. I would honestly love that. I would love that series as well.
Is Superman Red Sun technically a Elseworlds title? Yeah.
Yep. That is Gotham by Gaslight.
Gotham by Gaslight. Yeah.
I wish that they would do Red Rain. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, that would be really
ridiculous,
good too. That's one of my favorite stories too. Yeah.
Oh God. And like the whole arc of that, because it's like 3 different stories, I think, in that.
Yeah, you're right, Pharrell Ramsey. I think that honestly, I think that What If is going to push Disney and push DC to think about maybe doing an animated show very similar, and it would work on HBO Max. I honestly think that it would.
It honestly would. I mean, it's because they've been doing the animation. That was one thing that they did actually do better than Marvel DC. They did. They just have to, figure themselves out. I mean, they did well, incredibly well. Oh my gosh, one of my favorite things. The Harley Quinn series.
Yeah,
it's incredible. So they know they can do it. Their most recent movie, which is The Long Halloween, is up. The one thing they do have to stop doing.
On HBO Max?
Yeah, it's been up there for maybe about 2 weeks.
I gotta watch
one thing they do have to stop doing, which is unnecessary and ridiculous, is having these movies cut into 2 parts. Stop that.
Yeah.
I know you used to do it so you could sell 2 DVDs, which is still stupid. Stop that shit. Seriously. Just make it one movie. It's not a sequel. It's all one movie, just chopped in half. Stop that.
Yeah. And in all honesty, DC doesn't even really need to make it a show format for Elseworlds. They can make it, let's say, a series of films every year if they wanted to.
Yeah, like whatever they want to do, like that would be amazing. And I think I would rather have like the Elseworlds and What Ifs animated. Number one, they're easier to do.
Yeah.
I know I say that in respect to having the cast continuously. I don't mean easier to do as far as drawing and the art and the animation is easier. That's not what I mean, because I know that's ridiculously time constraining and you got to be on point with it, and I love that. But I think that would be great to do.
Yeah,
and absolutely. You can have more fun with it. That way, the interpretation, you can do it so much, so much more open.
Absolutely.
I would be. Long Halloween has been up there for about 2 weeks.
Is it both parts or just the first part?
Both
Okay,
parts.
cool.
The only thing they don't have up there that they released a while ago was Batman: Son of the Dragon. I think it was.
Okay, yeah.
That they don't have up there. I don't. Yeah, you got to get that together too. To Warner Brothers. I don't understand that. That should be up there. But I bought the comic after I heard it was being released. And I was like, oh, you know what? Let me start reading the comic. I haven't really started reading the comic yet. So I was like, I don't know if I want to watch it first and read it, or read it and watch it, but I'm probably going to end up watching it, then reading it, just see what the differences are.
Okay.
You know? But yeah, that's up there too.
Cool.
So I think that's pretty much it, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So
I want to shout out the Sterlings real quick for their Joystick Angel shirt.
Oh, you got a good circle. I'm feeling slightly threatened here. Well,
yeah, I will. Amina got me my pre-birthday gift for next year.
Nice.
It was from their Kickstarter, where you get the T-shirt, you get a copy of I think the first issue of Joystick Angels. They also threw in the
soundtrack
and the other book that they worked on.
Alchemist.
Yes, thank you. Alchemist, yes. And I think I'm going to have my character in a future book, I believe.
Oh, look! Sir, watch out! Look at this. Vato loco ese. Look at that. I see you, brother. I see you. All right.
Yes,
All right.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Well, you know what? Since we are showing off shirts, I appreciate that. The Joyce Angels, I appreciate you even doing that. And also, Lady Mina, I got to give a shout out to Anyone Comics for their new T-shirt.
Very nice, bro.
You know, nice. I had, and it also seemed fitting. You know, I'm not a yellow person, not wearing color, but you know what? Season 2 premiere.
I see.
Yellow shirts. Had to go with that.
You expanding the color palette, brother. That's nice, brother. It's nice.
Getting the amarillo out there, getting that amarillo out there. You know, get that amarillo. You know, you got to get it out there. You know, you got to get that amarillo. Sauce of that shit out, man. You know what's up. Yeah. So thank you to Sterling's over at Ray Comics. Awesome people. Thank you to Anyone Comics. Also, Anyone Comics, thank you. I think they're gonna start carrying Blurred Domination, which is just awesome. In so many different ways. So good. So that's the show.
Yep.
We will be back next week. We'll be talking, as Michael said, DC Fandom.
State of DC.
What's going on there? I will be, you know what? I'll probably end up watching Long Halloween before that, just so I can have something there to,
Yeah.
And I am interested to see what they do, what they're going to be talking about, series. They might even announce an Elsewhere's.
Who knows? Yeah.
I wish they would. That would be awesome. But on that note, brother, do you have anything to plug? Anything you want to talk about? And anything you want to put out there? You got an empanada dispensary? Anything like that?
I wish, brother. I would have told you that if I had that.
Yeah, you better. I'll be your favorite customer. I'll be the first one to get that rewards program. I know that.
No, I mean, it's good to be back. It's good that y'all are out here rocking with us, especially Farrell Ramsey and Joyfinity. Thanks for coming through and being with us today. And I mean, stay with us this year. Stay with us.
Yeah, we always appreciate it. Tonight, like on Fridays, I stream at 4 p.m. On YouTube and on Twitch. I do the Hungry Bleak podcast where I just give reviews on comics. I do the Wellness Check Friday, and I talk about Kickstarters that are out, like 40 minutes or less. I'm not going to take up your whole day, folks, because I'm hungry. On Friday and sometimes Saturday nights, I stream games on Twitch, usually 10 p.m. It's very late. I usually that's very late for me. I'll be honest with you. I stream games, but this week actually, yesterday I released an interview I did with actually TJ Sterling and the Newton Lelevoix on their new project Villainous. I had a pre-recorded episode that I uploaded on Twitch and on YouTube and wherever you get podcasts from. I did that for the Hungry Bleak podcast, and each night, yesterday I did one, I'll do one tonight, and tomorrow at 10 p.m. I'll give a quick rundown of something that really hit me about New York Comic Con, whether it was a movie or a trailer. There were some trailers actually I do want to talk about tonight that were pretty cool. What was it? Game of Thrones trailer, or teaser trailer, I should say. The one for Resident Evil, Raccoon City. And there was another trailer. I can't remember what it was. I might just talk about that real quick tonight. And tomorrow night I'll be talking about how it's the end and last day. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. All right, brother.
All right. So let's see if we have any other last bits. We always appreciate it. Joy Infinity. Love y'all and listen to y'all. Appreciate it. Thank you so very much. And yes, I was giving Amadio realness in these streets. Yes, in my best pray tell from Poe's voice. Yes, Amadio realness. The category is Amadio realness. Thank you. So as always, this gentleman is Michael Williams. I am Antonio Palmares. He is the CEO. I am the Hungry Bleak.
Yes.
Do the best you can with what you got, because it's all that you get, folks. Enjoy the rest of your day and eat something tasty. All right. Oh, and don't forget, keep rocking with us. Yes. Like, subscribe, share, go to the channels, click the links and such and the things with all the people and the who's and what's and the buttons and the stuff with the people.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's all I got. All right. Let's see how long it takes it for it to go off of live. So it's a while on live. Let's play this game of Russian roulette and see what happens. If it's awkward, I'll start dancing. Why not?
Yeah.
And that's us, folks. Have a good evening, day, night, whatever. Enjoy yourself. Wash your hands and change your drawers. All right, peace.